So what actually happens when you send your kids, your grandkids to Ivy League schools? Life couldn't be better, right? Oh no. Who's influencing them? Who are their professors? Take a look at this former Columbia University professor, a guest on Piers Morgan's show, who cannot condemn Hamas. In fact, he does the exact opposite. They're talking about Kneecap, the band that recently cheered Hamas and Hezbollah on stage, and take a look at what this former Columbia professor could not say about condemning them.
To be clear then, you do not have a problem with what Kneecap said in relation to up Hamas, up Hezbollah. Is that your position?
Position is I don't have a problem with them supporting anyone they want to support because that's under free speech protected.
With no accountability?
What about Israel's accountability? You want us to
stop playing whataboutery. I'm asking you specifically.
Piers, I am here as a guest, as a journalist, as someone who is a former professor at Columbia. There are people being jailed and disappeared off the streets for speech. They are being held accountable in a way that Israel has managed to evade.
Well, actually, they're being held accountable. They're actually being held accountable for harassing Jewish students, barricading them into rooms, making sure they couldn't attend, making sure they couldn't go to lectures. They were harassing the Jewish students.
Do you think that it's right to hold those people accountable and yet not hold Israeli leaders who have an ICC?
No, if you want to go after Israeli leaders, if you want to go after Israeli leaders,
or Israeli soldiers that are committing war crimes and war crimes against
I have called for Netanyahu.
Can I ask you a question?
Ahmed, no, you can't. I'm asking the questions. I'm asking the questions. Ahmed,
it is about framing.
I'm asking the questions. It's my show. That's how it works. I've called for Netanyahu to go. I think there are some right-wing headbangers in his cabinet who should go too. I think the war has gone on way too long. I think the amount of civilian death is unacceptable. I think of all these things. I say them publicly on a regular basis, okay? But I'm afraid that the debate here is about whether this band should be allowed to continue performing in America where they are publicly supporting terror groups. And at the moment, you don't want to answer that. All you want to do is keep saying, but what about the Israelis?
Give me a chance. The violent rhetoric can be problematic, but it is far less problematic than the violence we are witnessing every day. And so if we're here to talk about whether Kneecap should be held accountable, I'm simply positing, is it more of a priority for any society, any civilized society?
All right, well, it's a point of view.
Hold people accountable.
Let me bring in. All right, let me bring in the other guy. Okay, Ahmed, let me ask you this. Ahmed, no, stop talking for a moment, Ahmed. Let me just ask you, Ahmed, would you like to directly tell Hamas right now to release all the Israeli hostages?
No, I wouldn't.
Of course. So there's a massive double standard. At the heart of your debate, there's a massive double standard. You don't care how Jewish people get treated. You only care how Palestinians get treated.
Are you aware there are thousands and thousands of hostages, including children, being held in Israeli prisons, being raped,
what I'm aware of is that you have an absolute inability. Ahmed, with respect to you, you have an absolute... Ahmed, with respect... You have a chronic inability to answer any straightforward question without immediately playing whataboutery. But what you've hang on.
Israel is doing to the people in Gaza cannot be compared to what Kneecap said on stage.
Stop talking. What you revealed in your last answer when you said you would not tell Hamas to release the hostages was very telling. And everyone watching will find that very telling.
I think they should release the hostages.
You don't care actually about anything Hamas has done to those Israelis and Jews.
No, I think what Hamas has done
is fine. You can have that position, but you've revealed that position.
You want to bring me here to do that? Well done.
You know what? I brought you here to debate Kneecap. All you've done is say I shouldn't be talking about a ban. Let me bring in.
I want to talk about
I'm bringing another guest now.
I find it so strange.
I know you do. You want to just keep talking and run the entire debate.
Sadly, this professor is nothing more than a terrorist in a suit. The more these people speak, the more these pathetic people speak, the more clearer it becomes. They're not pro-Palestinian. They are pro-terror. And I really believe that it's really important not to engage with such people in debate. Because when it comes to such debate, it's not the proponent of truth as much as it is the master of eloquence who wins. Piers Morgan was raising his voice, and Professor Ahmed was speaking a lot calmer. He spoke about facts that he made up about children being raped in Israeli prisons as if they were fact, presuming them to be fact. And there could be people that could actually believe this insanity. Giving these people a platform is a travesty. We cannot engage with such toxicity. We've got to stay strong, connected to our values, and don't even give a platform to people that can be so insanely inhumane.